Good day, good day. Good day. Ayindimo ndenzeni nam ndenziwe zimeko ezo zibangele into okubani bendiba kule ndawo namhlanje. Sad news, sad news. Today we woke up with this sad news that the witness that was in Madlanga Commission of Inquiry who testified, in a lengthy way of the cover up that happened, the cover up that happened in Brakpan. This witness is Witness D, who has been identified as Marius Flam van de Merwe. He was working for a security company, and he came to Madlanga Commission to testify about the knowledge of what happened in those early hours of April 15, 2022. He gave a lengthy testimony and which was implicating the deputy chief of MPD. And his testimony, he alluded so much to the point where he gave in detail of the people who were at the scene and how he felt a time where he was instructed to go and dump the body, to the mine shaft or to the dam. Yes, indeed. Because he felt that he felt to be outnumbered, and that if he doesn't comply, something serious might happen to him. And he detailed that the guy known as Honeycomb was the main in this, and that he would do anything if it happened that people talk. And Witness D then felt so threatened, and he felt that if he doesn't comply, then he would also be part of it's so said that the only witness, who came forward. Remember, there was a time when the body was discovered by police, then they group up to be briefed now by all the officers or officials who are also involved in the incident of this Brakpan suspect. So they gathered and they spoke about certain things, and then Honeycomb seems to assure him or them that the chief will protect them. And as this Witness D, went in lengthy details about this incident, at time when we were listening to his testimony, you could feel that he was very, very scared. And he knew that at any point or any time he will be taken out, because he was always praising and praying that his family, would be safe. Remember, this case was then referred, or it was taken up by IPED, was busy investigating this murder case, because it was later discovered that this is not just any accident, drowning or whatsoever, but it was bigger than that. Furthermore, Witness D detailed this incident to the point where the chief was called to come to the scene. And when the chief was there, instructions, according to Witness D, was given to him. Yes, we heard that on Thursday, the chief came to testify. Julius Mkwanazi came to testify in Madlanga Commission, where he was asked about this incident. He actually brushed those off. He said that he was never there inside of the premises. It was just by the gate. Mind you, some of these vehicles, or to say, the telecommunication, or how they can ping the phone, with towers, they can easily see, okay, his phone, because remember, he was phoned, his phone was in his position. And remember, this person is a trained officer. So when he went there, I will assume that he went there to... No. When he went there, and when he testified that he was there, but just by the gate, he knew what he was doing. He knew that if ever they can check the tower, the towers, and his phone can be connected and be seen that it was, if indeed, there in that crime scene. That is to give now some other information that indeed you are there, whereas you deny that you are not there. So when he placed himself at the scene, that was just to show that no, I was here. So, but as I was there, I was never inside. And he testified that he could see, the marked vehicles and the unmarked vehicles, and he could see people, reflector jackets, because it was dark, but you could also see, some flashy lights, but he did not see nothing further than that. And he spoke only with one person, Hennekom, nothing longer than 5 minutes. And through all that, there is one thing that we need to discover here, but we won't go deeper as for today. when he was testifying at Madlanga Commission, he made mention of one thing which strike me. He said that he wouldn't want to go to prison because they have kids. And again, he said that, you know, he would do anything to protect his kids. And there is one thing that comes to mind, or that comes to light. On Thursday, he was testifying. That was the 4th of December. He was testifying, and in that regard. And again, when he was testifying, he made it sure that he doesn't appear. A point of correction. So on the 4th of December 2025, which means it was on Thursday, and on the 5th Friday 2025 December, the assassination of Witness D occurred. We won't want to speculate, and we won't want to put anything much of on this, because as it is still under investigation, we will wait for those who are in power to investigate and do their investigation. But it comes to one thing which has been confirmed by Brigadier Martha or something. I think she is a spokesperson of Gauteng. So she spoke earlier, to SABC News that, or to media per se, that the firearm that was used to assassinate a Witness D was AK-47. As to how did they come to that conclusion, I don't know. They are, they were there and they know better. And again, it was said that there was a bantam, or to say MP2, yeah. No, yeah, it's not a bantam to say, but there was a Baki MP200 that was there at the scene, and it was seen also through the cameras. So we'll wait and see how this will go about. It's so sad, man, because here, this man was not given any protection. Remember, this case comes a long way, where this body was found, and there's been some investigation, and he, from my own understanding, was a vital witness to this case of this suspect's body that was found in a river, So for him to not have that protection, for him to not be protected, because it was a little bit dark, and how this happened, it's really, really, really calling for concerns, because if The brigadier says that this, or a gun that was used, was a AK-47. That would mean to me the shooter, you know, was really feet away, you know, to witness the. And if so, if so, then it must be someone, you know, who is an expert in sniping. Because if you are a meter away and you are able to take one person out and not messing other or injure other people, then that would mean you are indeed an expert in doing what you are doing. You know, you are an expert in doing what you did. Hopefully, that the shooters or whoever that is involved in this will be found, because there are so many people who are losing their lives, and then when witnesses are there, witnesses are being taken out. And clearly, this was a hit. If it was not, we would have heard that his firearm would have been taken, his phones and all this and all that, and the people that were in the vehicle sadly saw that those kids had to experience what they experienced last night. Guys, it's so sad. We are not safe, but we must not be fearful of, you know, people who are trying to make our lives hard to live. Look, we're all gonna die, man, at the end. But let the call not be someone's call. Let it be God's call, not someone's call. Because I believe when you take one's life, you made that call, not God. So it should not be our God in taking our lives. So what I would say is I pray for the family of Witness D. I'm not gonna really give much of his name, because as much as it has been given out, as it has been identified and all over the media, as it has been said, and where he stays. The sad part of it is that um, this suspect, Bragg Pan robbery or robber. Say this suspect robber, you know, stays in Brakpan, you know, and this witness D, also stays, or the incident of his shooting, let me say, as according to what police on social media and Brigadier Mate stated, the crime scene is in Brakpan and it was in front of his house. You know, it's seen to be he was about to open the gate, you know, when the shots ensued. So this is a serious thing, guys. This is a serious thing. There are so many witnesses. You know, there were witnesses who gave lengthy detail about PKTT, and those witnesses, you know, should be protected by all means. There is so much. This I watched so many, you know, inquiries And there is no inquiry that brought so much of South African people's attention other than this commission or Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. This one really brought so much of attention, and as much as it did, so much of fear also, you know. And I did not know that one can die so easy in the hands of enforcers, law enforcers. I didn't know that one, you know. And I won't dwell much in that. It's such a pain to see that when you seek protection, you know, even get harmed by those who are in authority. That's a sad thing. That's a sad thing. You know, I hope these commissions that are running now will really bring much closure to people who really deserve that, you know, because it's so sad that after giving testimony, look, there are many cases that are not being solved up to this day. And that witness who has been assassinated, witness D, he had so much of information to give. And he had so much of things to detailize, you know. And he was not scared to call the names of those who are involved and of those who played such a big role, you know, suffocating a suspect or someone who alleged to be a robber of some sort of a warehouse. I wonder whose warehouse is that one that gave so much attention to police. Yes, people must do investigation, but it's so sad. It's so sad, you know, when one, and remember, it is said that this man, as he was being suffocated with this plastic, you know, he couldn't breathe, and he was giving information, and he even tried to bribe these officers with 500,000. That's a lot, you know, and that tells you that the moment they got to know that information, that this man, you know, have so much of a money in his house, the interest grew. The interest grew to the point where they decided to, you know, further their own thing. Now, what they were there for was never found. And remember Witness D, what Witness D said. The chief was called, you know, during that call, they were trying to find a gun that they could plant, or they would plant, you know, and you know how the scene was going to play out if that gun was found. You know. And again, evidently so, that money, that 500,000 was taken. And that 500,000 was never booked to any books of law. So, excuse me. How many of these things that are happening in this country? How many of these things that are happening in this country? Remember, some people are asthmatic or they have a problem when it comes to breathing. When you cover them, you know, it might not take them long to pass out or to be unconscious or to die. For those who say they are playing a role in protecting us, they must indeed protect us in a manner that they took an oath of protecting us and serving us. This is something that is very serious. I don't take it lightly, and the law must take its course. And I say, Witness D was supposed to be protected the day he stepped out of those buildings or those offices. Remember, he was not on camera when he was giving his testimony. And he said it clear that there are people who will recognize his voice. And that could have alarmed the law enforcers. At that time or at that moment, it was not for him. It was for his body and his family. It was not for his word of saying that he doesn't want the protection or whatsoever, but they could have stepped up the security. Even if he was not aware that he is being protected from a distance, that could have play a biggest role, you know. And I know one thing that could have been a reason for him to not want, if it happened to be that, to not want, you know, to be protected. It could have been of what happened to him. That man experienced something that was so sad for any human being to experience or to endure. These things that are happening here are not or should not be taken lightly. These commissions should continue, and these commissions should continue exposing these leaders. You know, and it's so sad that every day, every time we are told that there is no money, we don't have money. South Africa doesn't have money. But there are billions and billions that are being, looted by some form of syndicates. This is sad, man. This is sad. It's very sad. So this shouldn't be allowed, as it could have been prevented. I say it could have been prevented. Look here. This witness gave a lengthy detail about something that no one was willing to talk about. And yet, he was not protected. And remember, this case was being investigated long way back in 2022. It was investigated. After they discovered the body, then so much happened. And IPID was involved. As IPID was involved, this witness statement was taken. And from there, something could have been done. He was supposed to be protected. Even if he did not want any protection, that could have been forced to him. Because he said it in his testimony in detail that they were dealing with something that was bigger than any other thing. And you ask yourself, how many bodies that has been dumped in those mine shafts and dams? How many? How many? I'm not going to go into detail of anything, but mind you, things are happening in front of our eyes. There were 3 constables that drowned in one of those rivers. An accident, as it was alleged. And how far the case is, and we were told that things will be brought forward to our attention, but at this stage, we did not see anything. I think it was just for media. Guys, we must be extra cautious out there. Let's try to understand the people that we are engaged with. Because this witness said things in detail. As much as I was listening to his testimony, I was feeling a pain. Because at some point I was so emotional for him. And I was feeling it for him. So scared for him. Because it was such a biggest reveal. That one was the biggest reveal. And he said it so clear, that he's scared of Hennekom. He had some days with Hennekom that were unpleasant days, why it was not picked up. And the same person, this Hennekom, witness D testified that Hennekom, when he was asked, when he asked, then what happened to the suspect? Is he still gonna talk? And he was told that he will never talk again. From there. And mind you what happened. Just mind you what happened. The witness said it straight that he was then told that if anything comes out from the members that are here who are also involved, the guy said it straight that he will not go to jail for the body alone. He will take each and every one. That is something that could have been, taken into account. We cannot have criminals within. We cannot have criminals within. There are people who investigate diligently so, who have taken an oath and they are still sticking to that oath. And you find people who are in these institutions busy doing such horrible crimes. Let me ask this one thing before I go. Was it the right procedure to suffocate a man so that you can suck out information, will then be admissible in courts of laws. It will never stand the test of time. Remember this, it will never stand the test of time. Any information that given in a way of any coercion or coerced will never be admissible. Because I will stand and say, I had to save my life. That is why I gave that information. That was not the information that was correct. It was not a correct information per se. But because of I could see that I'm gonna die if I don't tell anything, I had to rescue myself. So the law there stated very clear that there is no case that would be handled coming in such a nature. Same as confession. It's so sad that as I was looking and praising those who investigate and doing so much, and the others who investigate and doing so much, but in a wrong way. Let that not be. Let them stick by the law and do things by law. Because at the end, we'll sit and watch, these trials such as Senzo trial, AKA and all others. And when we say, wow, bravo to those officers who managed to find those suspects and the information that they managed to get from them. And yet, on the other side, there are members and there are officers who are sucking information in a wrong way. To investigate and interrogate someone is such a skill, a given skill. You can be trained. You can be able to analyze when one is giving you or is telling you the truth or is not telling you the truth. Where is that thing? Where is that thing? Because I would watch so many things, so many shows. I would like, wow, I would love to be an investigator myself. Because it's such a nice and beautiful thing to see how they track those cases. Mystery has been solved. I hope in this case of this witness, those who are involved would be found. But one thing that always triggers my mind is that how on Thursday, when Julius Mkwanazi gave his testimony and said some few things which triggered something, but I'm not going to say it now. If one is so determined that he will not. And another thing that I want to raise in this is that when he was testifying, he gave the commission one assurance that please, let me not come back again. Can we finish everything today? And again, if you saw how nervous he was, he was not in one place. He was all over in that commission. That speaks something. I'm not gonna dwell much in that, because that speaks something. He was all over the place, and he would drink water like, I've never seen someone drinking water like he did. I've never seen someone drinking water like he did. And those are things that you spot as a person who is able to analyze things and get something out of someone when you I'm not gonna say much. But there's one thing that I noticed and that I listened during the course of commission. It was asked things. It was asked, for instance, to go to page 89. Before he went to page 89, he was then directed to page 90. He was asked by Commissioner Kumalo if that signature is his signature. He looked at it and excitedly he said, yes, 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 that's my signature. Now Commissioner Kumalo took him back to page 89. He saw paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and he looked at it and he was asked, and he completely denied it. But Commissioner Kumalo, as experienced he is, he took him through and said, no, Commissioner, read it. He read paragraph 1 to paragraph 2, and he confirmed it to be his. Immediately after he read paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, he was then taken to paragraph 3 and 4. That's where he started to bumble. That's where he started to be all over the place. And he then brought it to the attention of the commission that it could have been something out of this world, where he at some point he was assisted by his PA. Remember this, when he appeared in the commission, he had no lawyer. He had no lawyer. You know what? I'm not going to detailize that one because I saw something. When he was in the commission, he had no lawyer. And number 2, he was all over the place. Number 3, he asked the commission to finish his testimony on that day. He asked the commission to finish his testimony on that day. He was someone, number 4, he was someone who was like in a very rushy bus. He did not want to miss that bus. Along when they were close to finish the commission or his cross-examination of that time, as he will return back to the commission, he cited one thing, that he wouldn't want to go to prison because they have kids. And remember, people who have kids and saying such things, they will do anything to protect themselves and their kids. Anyone would do. But the way he cited it was quite something so strange, because who said he will be going to jail? Who said he will go to jail? Was there anything that was close? Was there anything that was close? We'll wait and see. I hope the investigation of this case of Witness D will be an investigation that will bring about closure to the family of Witness D. Sadly so, Witness D was with his family. He was with his wife and kids. How so sad, man. And then you hear people like him saying that he wouldn't want to go to jail because he have kids. And yet, the person who assassinated Witness D must face the mighty law And this country must do something. You can't you can't give 15 years for someone who committed such a crime. There are so many charges if you may look at it, you know. Killing of a witness should be something that would be brought to our attention of everybody, that you did something that is so damnly serious and you will be imprisoned for life. It should be like that. Not this thing of prolonging everything, wasting state resources, making courts to run 3 to 4 years for evidence that is in your disposal. Yes, evidence must be tested, but tested to the point where, if it comes to any conclusion, let it be. Guys, let's pray for those kids. Let's pray for that mother. Let's pray for the family of the witness D. There are so many witnesses, and I am in a sad state now because what happened to witness D is something that was something that was supposed to be prevented. Something that was supposed to be prevented. It can't be correct. Being assassinated, in front of your kids, in front of your wife. These things must be taken into consideration. Sadly so.